I need Adam to back me up on this, maybe. And I have been a super fan of his for a long time. So this isn't he just died and now
she's lying. Prisoner of the moment, wants to look cool.
But listen though,
love him.
All right, and here we go. We are rolling. It is time for a special edition of Kash's Top 5. This actually has nothing to do with the top 5, but we didn't have another name for it. Tonight's a special night. We're going to be doing a Saturday Night Live fantasy draft. We are drafting our favorite cast members of all time, kind of like a baseball squad. Shy Holder is one of our guests today. He and I had talked about building a baseball roster, either the 9 positions, and filling them with our favorite SNL cast members. And also on the show tonight, we have my sister, Melinda Kashner, a devoted SNL fan. And
your other sister,
my future ex-wife, Jenna Ray, rounding us out.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Okay, we'll figure it out. My best friend in the world, Jenna Ray, is joining us as well. There's going to be 4 of us drafting tonight. And also, it is October 11th. So it is now 46 years to the day that SNL premiered. October 11th, 1975, George Carlin hosted the first episode. So
I think that's why Shy forgot last week.
We had to move it to
purposeful. Today. I also got a bone to pick with you, Adam, because when we rescheduled this, because I did forget last time we were supposed to do this. You did the thing that my white friends do to me, being the black guy. You tell them 30 minutes earlier, just so they make sure they're on time, because I thought it was 6. And it was 6:30, but here we are. I'm here and I'm on time and I'm ready.
That's all we need, man. We've got the show ready to go. We're gonna do 9 picks, and then towards the end, we're gonna do our dream picks for host and for musical act. And we're going to do 45 seconds for a pick. Like, we should be pretty quick starting off, but once we get down to the nitty gritty of the last couple of picks, we'll see how it goes. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Love the enthusiasm. I'm matching it.
Jenna. All right. We are drafting with the first pick. Number 1, Melinda. Who do you got?
Okay. I'm not going to stick with the baseball theme because I don't know baseball.
Cool.
I do know softball a little bit. I don't know how similar it is, but I'm going to call this pick my catcher, because the catcher is important because you see everything that's happening on the field.
It's not the same sport, Kashner, but go. I digress.
I'm sorry. I'm going with Kristen Wiig.
Okay.
I love her. I love the characters she does. I didn't think I'd get her later on, so I wanted to grab her real quick. I don't know if you saw Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. It was genius. Gilly, that character she does where she one-ups everyone, and she's like, I actually have a Mercedes-Benz, and actually, I was the president, and Penelope, yes. And
Gilly's, sorry.
Gilly.
So I don't know. I love her and her voice. It's her voice, and I will say, like, even though she has these iconic characters, she's the kind of person that even just physically, Target lady, Liza Minnelli, Target, welcome to Target. I just, even if she's not doing one of her iconic characters, and she has many, just physically, she's so funny. So that's my piece about Kristen Wiig.
All right. Yeah. And I will say an example of a successful film career following the SNL tenure. Sometimes it does not go so well. All right. First pick, Kristen Wiig. That's a strong one. Shy. I know who you're not going to pick, and I can't wait to duke this out with you later.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. Like, I still can't believe you dissed this guy as far as being a cast member. He's one of my favorites. But with the number 2 pick, Shy Holder, who do you have?
I will say that this is like, between the 4 of us, like, you can't go wrong. I mean, this is like the greatest ensemble of comedic talent ever. Just going, there's people I forgot that were even on the show before my time, and it's crazy. But to me, who should have been the number 1 overall pick, even though I love me some Kristen Wiig. I mean, you think about the most memorable moments in SNL history and who has arguably the most memorable sketches. Love him or hate him, Will Ferrell. I mean, that's my guy. I mean, and for me growing up, and kids aren't like this today at all, but I remember being like a fourth, fifth grader, and the only thing we would talk about on Monday is what happened on SNL the Saturday, before coming back to school. It was that big of a deal. And in that time, in that heyday, in those elementary years for me, those formative comedic years, so to speak, where I kind of got my taste in comedy and whatnot, Will Ferrell was the guy. I mean, he has gone on to make some stinkers in some movies and whatnot, but when it comes to like his SNL track record, I mean, it's just amazing. Even some of the things that I don't like, other people love from what he did in SNL. So I think, to me, he's the A-lister of A-listers when it comes to those cast members.
Yeah, and I think it's part of like SNL is you're gonna have some stinkers. Like even the people who go on to have really, famous film careers, you're gonna have some stinkers. But no, Will Ferrell, he's on my list because he has to be on everyone's list.
Yeah, I think so. I was really impressed with Will Ferrell. Like I went back through and the seasons were on Netflix for a while, and then they were taken off.
Mm-hmm.
But the first episode of the season that his first year, he was a rookie. Sometimes rookies have a lot. Sometimes you don't see them most of the year. You don't even know that they're part of the cast. But Will Ferrell's first sketch of his first episode was a thing he did in his audition for SNL. Like one of the things that got him on the show was so funny. Yeah, get off the shed. Like him being the dad, getting louder and louder and angrier was the first sketch. And I just think that is kind of a gold standard. Like this dude was going to be undeniable. First show out, first sketch out, he's the star. It was destined to happen.
That's my star shortstop right there, by the way, to put it in baseball terms. He's
okay.
Dependable. He's going to make more plays than he misses. So that's the shortstop right there. The captain, the Derek Jeter, so to speak.
So I'm at pick number 3, and Will Ferrell was going to be my pick if you snaked my guy for me, Shy. I was a little worried about that.
I feel like you're going to take mine.
As much as I feel like I know who you're going to pick, and as much as I'd love to take your guy just to upset you, I'm not going to.
We'll see.
Let's see. But you got 2 in a row after this, so.
Yeah, I know, but.
All right. My number 3 is undeniable. Chris Farley is my pick at number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to just the iconic status that he had on the show, off the show, unfortunately the legend, as burning out fast and dying young like he did. He's one of those that you just wish never happened. Like it's still like I'll reread his his biography, and I'll watch old interviews and I'll watch Tommy Boy repeat or whatever, and I'm like, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that he's gone. He died 97, but he meant so much to me. Obviously, being a bigger guy, and it wasn't just the physical comedy; it was the sweetness and the stuff that cut through. He's a tremendous actor, and it really always pissed me off when people said that, oh, he was the next Belushi. He was the next Belushi. Like, no, I'd never laughed at Belushi once. And it's not even a comedy thing. They didn't match up. If anything, I think Chris Farley was the next Gilda Radner. He was a kid and she was a kid, and they've just shown so much love and devotion to sketch and to comedy and being in the moment. There's no way I can't pick Chris Farley. Thank you both for not taking him number 1. That would have really bummed me out.
I told you I was going to.
Yeah, I know. I was really worried. He's my first baseman. He's the big boy that can really crush the bat and surprisingly athletic.
What's funny, to top in for a second about, I'm dealing with this now because I'm about to be 36 at the beginning of next year. Looking back at some of these people, and realizing he was 33 years old when he died, I felt like 33 was so much older from a child's perspective. Like I'm going back and I'm watching NYPD Blue for the first time right now, right? And the people in there look 50 years old to me, and they're like 32, 33. I can't believe it. Yeah. I'm watching TV yesterday and I see Michael Brantley, baseball player who's been in the league for a while. And I'm like, this dude's old. And come to realize I'm 2 years older than he is. And I wonder if anyone else is dealing with that as we progress in age, because I just can't believe that I'm as old or older than some people that I've looked up to in my life.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like we all look better though.
I do too. I think we're smarter with some of the trends. Maybe the trends, some of the way we dress and style ourselves will look really stupid in 20 years. But right now, I think we do a pretty good job, because some of the like I said, watching NYPD Blue, no man in the 90s had problems going bald. Like everyone was just rocking the shag in the back and hair on top. And I've never seen so many receding hairlines in my life. You don't see it anymore. But people just embraced the baldness back then. So that's one reason they looked old.
They didn't have the YouTube like makeup tutorials that we have now.
True.
Yep. And the advanced hair plugs. Yeah, no, it's true, man. It's crazy. Like I'll watch a football game or whatever. And it's somebody's son is now playing. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Jenna, did I take your guy? Because I don't think I did.
I feel like I'm gonna get hate for two things that I'm about to say. I don't know much from Chris Farley. I didn't watch like when I got into it, I feel like it was middle school, and a lot of people are the same with like Will Ferrell. I'm not going to say anyone else just in case you guys all forgot about them so I can snatch them later.
Yep.
But what I have seen from Chris Farley, for me, he's too over the top, which is not really my style.
And
also,
muting, hold on real quick.
also, I'm not baseball stupid, so I'm not going to do that at all. It's boring and I hate it. Who am I going to pick, Cash?
I think easily your number one is Andy Samberg.
No.
Really?
I actually didn't like Andy Sandberg on SNL.
So good. He's so good.
Oh my!
I love him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and now I can go back and watch and appreciate him, but most of his were the digital shorts, and a lot of them I feel like are
okay,
like too immature boyish.
Cool. No doubt. So
no doubt.
Who are you gonna take with your first pick?
Going to pick someone who I feel like people are going to say that's your first pick, but he has been with the majority of us for 20 plus years, and I just love him, and I laugh in every skit he's in. So I'm going to pick Kenan Mother effing Thompson.
What?
This might be the worst first round pick in the history.
Number one?
Draft.
Oh,
What?
Yep.
Wait,
I
hold
love
on.
Kenan.
Worst first round?
You can get him so much later.
It's
I'm not
a good,
taking that
it's
chance.
not good value. I mean,
I understand,
It's
but he's
good
a
value
heavy
to me.
hitter. He's been
This
around
is-
for
no,
damn
listen,
near my whole life.
this is
Yeah.
a love-hate thing because, like, oh my gosh, it's kind of a running joke in the Black community. Like, Keaton's still on SNL. Like, he's
I think it's a running joke everywhere.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
but it's
white
like-
community too, buddy. I'm just letting you know.
it's also the running joke that like every character Keaton plays has the same exact accent. No
Oh,
matter
yeah.
who
They're all
it
the
is.
same.
That's true.
That's
He's
my
such
kind
a-
of impression.
He's
That's
such
part-
a likable guy, but he's not necessarily skilled at impressions, right? But he
Oh,
is funny.
yeah.
So
No,
he's one of my
he's-
favorites. I just would have took him so high.
He's not skilled at impressions, which is why my number 2 pick is going to be Bill Hader.
Yeah, I knew it. Oh, I knew it.
That's a great pick.
Bill Hader is so good at impressions that when he talks in his normal voice, it always throws me off. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what Bill Hader sounds like. I know he has a lot of characters, but my favorite is still the reporter
Herb Welsh.
that hits everyone with a microphone and pretends they're dead. Love it.
What's the one he does where he's like on Weekend Update and he's like whispering in his hands? Like,
Stefan.
Stefan.
I do like that one a lot.
So good.
Bill Hader
So
has
good.
everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Did you
number
see-
one overall?
Well, did you see the movie? I don't know what it's called, but it's Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader as like brother and sister.
Skeleton
Yeah.
Twins.
I tried to watch it
Isn't
and I
he doing
didn't.
like
dramatic.
serious acting now?
Yeah.
I saw. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting.
It made me cry a lot. But yeah, no, it's they can act. It turns out.
Okay. So, back to
On
me.
you, right, Kashner? Yeah.
All right. Let me start crossing some people out.
I know. I gotta.
And this is where it gets tricky because you kind of do it on the
Already?
fly. No, it is.
Round 2.
Well, okay. Start the timer on myself. I think I'm going to kind of do what you did and take this one before anybody else can. Because there are some that I would prefer to have, but I don't know. I feel like this is one you can't replicate.
Don't take.
So I'm
one
gonna
of mine.
I'm gonna take her now.
Oh no.
What you got?
You said her. You said her because
I know. I was like,
her too, and I'm like, no, don't do it.
I'm doing it. My second pick overall, Amy Poehler is my pick.
Okay. It's okay.
okay.
She's on my
Everything's okay
list.
here in the draft room. Everything's okay in the war room. We're all right.
I know who you want, Shy.
Kash, how do you feel about Amy on Weekend Update?
So that's also part of it because one of your cast members is going to be your Weekend Update host, and I love.
Oh wait,
Amy.
what? I don't think I paid
Or two.
attention to any of this.
Or two. Yeah, I mean, it can be any of your cast, but we're not going to have I guess we could have a special DH spot for Weekend Update, designated hitter spot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at Shy and I said DH, and I looked at you. I was like, designated hitter.
No, yeah, I didn't get that.
But no, Poehler, I think, was amazing on Weekend Update. She obviously never went solo. It was her and Tina, and then her and Seth. But she's just got, she's fearless. You know, I was watching an SNL retrospective where they kind of go through the generations or whatever, and Jason Sudeikis is talking about Amy Poehler. She just has this polecat swagger where it's not, you know, comedy is not looking good. It's not, you know, trying to still be cool. It's putting it all out there. And when it comes to percentages, she was always funny, always fearless. And her post SNL career, Leslie Knope, one of the best characters, loved Parks and Rec. She was funny in movies.
With you on Leslie Knope, but I will say I do love Amy Poehler because of the Leslie Knope character. But when I think of her on SNL, I feel like she did have a role to play. She was sort of the straight man, straight woman a lot of times, to Tina's silliness. But I feel like alone, she's not as funny as she is when she's next to Tina Fey. I feel like that's a bit of a hit on her draft stock for me.
I think you have a point. I think she works really well with, like, she plays off of other people well. It's tough because she didn't have much solo work, but there was, like, she was Kim Jong-il. And that was really like, she was really funny when she got to shine, like, in the solo stuff. So yeah, I agree, although I think Tina is also a lot of the straight woman. Like, there's kind of the craziness, and it's her sarcasm that kind of cuts through. But
I think one of my favorite skits with Amy Poehler is the Bronx skit with Maya Rudolph.
Sweater weather. Yeah.
So that is where, but she also had that one where she played the little kid, and I don't remember the name.
Oh yeah.
But she was alone on that one. I'm bad at memorizing names. Hey, you.
It's hard to, like, separate these people, some of these people, from just who they are as, like, comedic performers and who they were on SNL, because Amy Poehler can obviously hold her own on her own. Like, she was the one breakout from UCB to make it to SNL, and there's lots of people like that where, you know, they have very, like, impressive comedic careers, but were they used that way on SNL? Not necessarily. So when you're drafting, it's kind of hard to consider that. For me, it's hard to separate both. I kind of have to take the whole package. Also, Adam, did you move?
No.
Oh, your background looks different. I thought you were moving. It's my brother.
Well,
I don't even know what's going on.
It's dark. It's darker out, so it's not as well lit. And I've got a new sign. Caitlin is the character where she plays the kid.
Yes.
And Amber, I'm rocking one leg. Like, that was a solo character. That was good. Okay. All right. Too much time. We are back to Shy.
I'll make this one quick. This comes a point in the draft where, like in the NFL, there's always a run on quarterbacks. Once one person takes a quarterback, now everyone's got to take one. This is like the run on female comedians for me. And for me, this is going to be someone who a lot of people might not remember was on the show, but is one of my very favorite. And it's so fine, even though she's reaching, you know, the upper years of her life. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is just like the funniest person to me, and she is so sexy. I mean, and she always has been. She hasn't aged a day.
And now she's in Marvel.
Oh, is she? I didn't know that.
She is? Oh my god.
Yeah, she was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And then she was at the I guess
spoiler alert, the end of Black Widow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn you, man. I thought for sure I had that one snuck in a little later. Nobody was going to pick back up.
She's
on
in the
that.
front of my mind too, because I'm finally watching the last season of Veep right now. And
Oh, it's so good. It's so
Oh,
good.
man.
God, just when you
I
like
can
her in
watch
that
anything
show.
she's in. I can watch anything she's in. She's just like
They
uber entertaining.
just added Seinfeld to Netflix, and so I was like, well, now I have to rewatch Seinfeld again. And so I've been watching a lot of that. She's so good, so good. And people do forget she was on SNL.
Yeah. Damn it. All right.
Isn't she a
Melinda,
billionaire
you're
too?
up.
What?
Oh, her family
Yeah,
was
her
rich.
dad is like
Yeah.
super rich. She has
Yeah.
a son that plays, I want to say he plays D1 basketball at Northwestern or something like that.
Must be fucking nice.
Okay, well, I was worried when I was talking about what'd you run off quarterback? Is that what you said? I don't know words.
It's
Yeah,
just a run
making
of
a run on
Okay.
quarterback.
I see,
Somebody
I
drafts
see.
a quarterback, all the other teams panic, and everyone's like, I got to get a quarterback before they run out.
Right. Okay. So I was worried you were going to talk about Weekend Update because I'm going to make a very predictable move right now. And I need Adam to back me up on this. Maybe I'm taking Norm Macdonald, and I have been a super fan of his for a long time. So this isn't he just died. And now I've been obsessed with Norm for
Legend.
quite a while. You can check
She's
the tweets.
lying. Prisoner of the moment. Wants to look cool.
but
No,
listen though,
love him.
he is arguably one of the two best Weekend Update anchors of all time. But I feel
Mhm.
like, and you'll see it as this draft goes on, Weekend Update is probably the deepest spot on
Oh
the show.
yeah. It's
sure.
been my favorite for forever. And yeah, you get really it's good stuff.
Think
There's
about
not
how-
much else.
Think about the impact. Like, does the Daily Show exist without Weekend Update? Like,
Yep.
everything in comedy, a lot of shows have been centered around, let's make this 10-minute segment into like a 30-minute show. You got last week tonight with John Oliver, all those things. I
Yeah.
don't think they happen without guys like Norm Macdonald and Weekend Update.
I'd be curious to see like the evolution of just late night, from Tonight Show on, with Weekend Update factored in, how it changed throughout the years. Anyway, as far as Norm Macdonald goes, not much to say. He's a freaking genius, and I love him so much. I can spend hours on YouTube watching him doing Weekend Update or otherwise. I love anyone who's like punk rock about it and just is like, fuck you, I'm gonna do a million OJ Simpson jokes. And then to see, like, after he got fired, he went on late night and just blasted like these NBC executives, like, fucking, sorry, I'm cursing at him, but yeah, gotta
don't do
respect
that.
it. Sorry.
And he got to host the very next year. They fired him, and then he hosted the very next. He's like, "Yeah, they invited me back. Whatever."
So good.
Since it's Serpentine, you're back to back. So you've got Wig, you've got Norm. Who's your third?
Okay. Shoot. Okay, I'm gonna take her. She is an unstoppable force. She has a storied career. She has gone on to do many other projects that I love. Sorry, I'm taking Molly Shannon.
Okay.
Oh. Everyone's like, that's fine.
Sorry.
Who? I'm 50.
Yeah, I'm not-
Thick.
I apologize for not being familiar with many other Molly Shannon projects she went on to do, but I did see her in a commercial for. I saw her in a commercial for something that's like on HBO or one of those premium channels recently.
She
She
was
on
in
White
an
Lotus.
episode of Scrubs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I'm learning a lot. Well, and to be fair, one of my favorite things she's done post SNL was not that long ago. It was this movie called Other People, and it was very sad. I like to cry. I'm picking people like, remember when they did that sad movie?
I have seen that, and I can't remember what it is about off the top of my head, but I remember liking it. But she was in another sad movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Year of the Dog? Something dog, and her dog's name was Pencil. You have not seen this? All right. Well, if you want to
I'm gonna watch
Molly
it.
Shannon, you need to look this up.
How long
I
were
will.
How long were you watching that? Just like waiting. When is she gonna do the superstar thing? When is it coming?
Do the hits.
Yeah, she's probably one of those people that gets seen out in public and like, do the thing. Play
Yeah.
Freebird.
Kick.
All right, that's
Wow.
all.
Well,
I'm
sorry
next
that
up.
y'all hate her. I like her.
I
I
mean,
don't hate her.
I think the comments allude to that, but I wouldn't say I hate the pick. I feel like that's a value pick. Like you could have gotten her later on if you really wanted her.
Well, damn it.
Yeah, year of the dog. That's your assignment.
Okay, thank you. I wrote it down. I wrote year of the pencil.
It's the dog's name, I'm pretty sure.
All right, so we've got Will Ferrell and we've got Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Shy, who's your third pick?
All right, this is my starting pitcher here. This guy is an intimidator. He's Max Scherzer out there. He's like psycho guy. He'll throw at your head, like he'll throw behind you. Just an intimidator, right? Tracy Morgan. I mean,
Okay.
Oof.
he's just. Can you just think about the three people I have already? The things that they could do together: Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Tracy Morgan. I don't even think I need anyone else. These three people could make me laugh, unlike anybody else. And I know Tracy isn't like the sharpest, technically skilled person, but he's just one of those people that's naturally funny. I imagine if you sat down with him for a cup of coffee, you would just be laughing the entire time. I mean, he's one of those guys that's probably not classically trained, but everything he does to me, it's just, I find some humor in it.
Yeah, he's one where it just shines on him, and it's just him being him. You know,
And we need at least one black guy on the cast. So there we go. That's fine.
Yeah, I put dashes and stars down to make sure I had the women and the black cast members out. So make sure that there aren't too many just white dudes.
Yeah, I think I was going to pick Tim Meadows. Are you kidding me?
Hey man, stop naming names.
Ugh, I will say
He's
if I
in Mean
can,
Girls.
Oh yeah, he is.
he was wait, what is immediately. Anyway,
Oh hell
if
no.
if I could out some Warren Central Warriors, myself, Stephen Cook, Kristen Cattell in the basement of Becca Eulis's house, we used to make prank phone calls and call people and go, "I'm Brian Fellows." We were like 16. It's so sad that we did that.
Have
But
any
we
of
would
you
prank
seen?
call us. Brian
Have
Fellows.
any of you seen Tracy Morgan's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Seinfeld?
Oh, so good.
So
Because you
I don't
sent
know-
it to me.
Yeah, I don't know how real they're on, or if it's truly them on camera, if they're still kind of doing a bit of an act because they're on camera, but they're riding around, and one of the clips is it's Seinfeld and Tracy Morgan on the way to get something to eat. And he goes, "You remember Kramer from Seinfeld?" Jerry's like, "Do I remember him?" He's like, "Yeah."
Of course.
"Yeah, I do. I remember Kramer from Seinfeld." I was like, "Yeah."
Hey, by the way, fun fact that blew my mind a couple weeks ago when I learned it. Jerry Seinfeld's real name is Jerome.
Yeah, man.
Never would have guessed a white guy could be named
Oh.
Jerome. That is crazy. First white Jerome I've ever even heard of.
All right. Okay. I'm up. I've got Chris Farley and I've got Amy Poehler. And I might go black guy here too.
That's like a position now.
Yeah, dude.
For my black guy, I'm gonna take
For my center fielder, I'm taking
Of course.
Chris Rock.
okay.
Can't go wrong with that one. A-list.
I
Yep,
think
on my list.
you could have him host Weekend Update. He could do several different characters on Weekend Update. He can carry sketches. He's a writer, so you know he's going to really put in the work behind the scenes. Yeah, and then all the stuff outside of that speaks to, I mean, just
And he
one of the
does
best
thing with
stand-ups of all
opinions when
time.
he-
The weird things that he does when he
Yeah.
talks, yeah. But easy pick for me, because I want to make sure I scoop up some of my faves. There are some definite first rounders that are slipping because of this, and I really like it. But yeah, Chris Rock.
This list of cast members is just insane.
I'm being
Yes.
strategic.
All right, Jenna Ray, we're up. You've got back-to-back picks again.
See, I feel like I'm gonna get judged for who I pick because I'm just gonna pick the people who in my head have the most sketches that I like.
That's
who
what
are
we're all
still
doing.
available.
That's okay.
You're like, I feel like I'm gonna get judged for picking the people I like the best. Like that's what we're doing.
I know, but
This
like
is
I'm thinking about like certain people who are in things, but they don't really have like. Okay, well, since I have two, I'm going to claim her now. Because I guess I got to fill my girl spot.
I love your sex tape.
Yes. Part
For
of me
real.
wants to pick this person because I know they're not going to be there anymore, and they have a lot of characters, but I don't always like them. So again, I'm going with someone you're going to be like, oh, you're picking her, but I think she's hilarious, and I love Vanessa Bayer, so I'm going with
Yeah.
Vanessa Bayer.
What?
Good call.
It's
We're
a
not-
cute pick. It's a
We're
cute
not
pick.
porn stars anymore. That's one of my favorites of all time.
Vanessa Bayer is one of those picks where the fans boo at the draft, but then like 10 years later, you look up and like solid career. Not a bad pick.
That's so
I mean,
true.
she has like, I haven't seen her anything where she's like a main character or has a lasting gig, but she's been in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She was in What We Do in the Shadows, which if you're not watching that show, you should, because it's hilarious. And she's Jacob on Weekend Update. She's got
that's the best one.
All in the News on Weekend Update. Like she's got a lot of good Weekend Update characters, and she always makes me laugh. So, and she's the maid in Californians. So
that's true.
Justifying my pick there for you.
No, she's great, and she really grew into her teeth as the years went on.
Oh, like literally?
No.
She was all teeth for a little bit there.
Yeah.
All right.
No, she's great.
Back to back. Who we got?
Oh, there are so many that I want to take, but I don't know. This is going to be me for the rest of the time because I have people that I like, but like.
I know, it's follow your head or follow your heart. It's hard.
Okay, so with Weekend Update, do we have to have a Weekend Update person?
No, I mean, one of your cast
You'll be
members
judged
will
if
be the
you
Weekend
don't.
Update host.
Okay.
Yeah, and for sure we'll judge you.
Because
That's
here's the thing
whole-
where like I want to pick them, but they're not in any other sketches. So
just pick him.
Okay, I'm gonna take Seth Meyers.
All right. I already wrote it down.
That I was gonna take him.
Yeah.
I fucking love Seth Meyers. I think that him by himself is my favorite version of Weekend Update ever.
Me too.
I do like.
Wow.
I do like.
Take. Wow.
I like his really with Amy Poehler, but I wasn't a fan of him with Amy aside from that or Cecily. And I like both of them on their own, but just Seth Meyers alone, he had, in my opinion, the best guests, and he delivered his jokes the best, and I like his writing. So
I agree. My close second would be Tina and Jimmy together as a team, but Seth solo is pretty unstoppable. Shy, what's up? You seem upset.
Seth Meyers is not funny. I'm sorry.
I think he's hilarious.
His late night show is horrible. He was horrible at SNL. The guy has not made me laugh one time.
Oh my God.
I love it.
All right.
It's like
Well.
I don't have animosity towards Seth Meyers. And there's that video of him drinking with Rihanna that I love. It's from like I think his late night show. But it's like picking Colin Jost in my head.
I love Colin Jost. He is so handsome. How could you not?
You love Colin
You
Jost,
think he's
but you don't
his
like Seth
face
Meyers?
is so his head shape is so strange to me.
I love Colin Jost, not individually, but with what he and Michael Che do together works so well. Like when they make each other when he makes them read the races.
That's our favorite part
The
of
joke
this
swap
season finale.
is-
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That's
But-
up there with Stefan with greatest update bits of all time. Absolutely.
That would be a good try.
I will say I have not watched. I'm not like a late night TV person, so I have no idea if his show is good or not. But I did watch his stand up, and I thought it was funny. So
Lobby Baby's really good.
yeah, that was it. Just had the baby in the lobby.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
was over on the bench.
Okay.
Shy, get ready to do some more hating because my next pick is my number 4, and I am going with Mr. Mike Myers, the Canuck.
Oh, I forgot he existed.
How could
Yep.
you? He's Shrek.
I
Yeah,
know.
man.
And I read through
Listen,
the list
he's-
of cast members.
Mike Myers is one of those guys where like you ever watch like the old like NBA footage and it's like the guy who was a mechanic during the day and played basketball at night and they didn't have a 3-point line. Like he was good back then, but the comedy doesn't carry over. He was like George Mikan, right? He was an
Okay.
all-star in the 1950s, but there's no way he could play against LeBron James, right?
But
I mean-
he's still in the Hall of Fame. Can't take it away
Okay.
from him.
He's all right. Hey, I thought, you know, the funniest thing Mike Myers has ever done in his career was the look he gave Kanye West when he said George Bush doesn't like black people. That made me laugh, Mike Myers. That was a crowding moment for me.
So you did not like Wayne's World.
No.
Okay.
Mary
Look,
doesn't
here's-
have anything to
I
say.
don't know how I can't argue.
Wait,
Here's
did
what you have to realize. Being raised as a black kid and a white kid are different, right? As you get older, like you start hanging out with different people and dating, you know, different people. You start to like blend cultures a little bit and learn a little bit about like what they like. But like, if you name a white movie from like my elementary years, I haven't seen it. Like I just haven't.
Unless it's
So,
a baseball movie. Then you
yeah,
have.
like I was probably watching like David Townsend Meteor Man or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know Wayne's World very well. The
You were
first
watching Blank Man.
one of the first comedies like I've ever watched like that was probably American Pie. Like because all my friends were talking about it in school. So but that Mike Myers never appealed to me.
But what about Shrek?
I mean, I've seen Shrek. I have 1,000 children.
What about
also
Austin
not funny,
Powers?
but Shrek's not
Austin
funny though. Donkey's
Powers.
funny. That's right.
Shrek is hilarious. Oh, like the movie
Donkey's
itself. I'm
funny.
thinking. Yeah, Donkey's the best part of that movie,
Yeah.
obviously.
What
and
about,
the
what about
gingerbread
Austin
man.
Powers?
I
Yeah.
think I thought was terrible.
Okay, I
It's
can't
like-
wait. Oh, I can't wait.
He's
to
one of
just hate
Austin
on your next
Powers, the
pick, whoever it
character of
is.
Austin Powers feels like, hey everybody, look how funny I am, but I'm not really, you know what I mean? The accent and
Your
was just not-
takes.
it was just
What's
corny,
really
man.
funny is you.
he's
and
a
I are
corny
either
comedian.
on-
He's a cornball.
Oh my god.
It is corny. To be honest, okay, Adam, to be fair, last time you saw Austin Powers, how old do you think you were?
Look, it does not hold up. I did enjoy
That's
it,
what I'm saying. He's George Mikan. He's
but his characters. I'm going back to just SNL and the writing and the variants of sketches he was in. He did a lot, and he could be the weirdo like Deidre from Sprockets, like the real niche comedy.
Yeah.
And then he could be just the straight guy, like he's just the dad, and he's the butt of the joke or whatever. But it always does fascinate me, Shy. We are either 100% or 0%. Like you and I very rarely, we either totally agree or like, no, you're wrong. And I can't believe how wrong you are. See you, Jenna.
That's okay
And-
because once we get
Just
towards the
because
end
you
of this draft, I'm going to have some sleeper picks that you guys probably would never even think about putting on your roster.
Oh, me too.
Okay. All right, Shy, you're up. You've got Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tracy Morgan. Admittedly, I'm pretty jealous of your team so far. So who do you have at number 4?
Hey, GM's what I do. So I'm getting my catcher here. I consider the weekend update position the catcher because if all else fails, you need to have a reliable person back there to stop the ball, right? If all else fails, the guest host is bad, the musical guest is bad, the sketches are bad. Weekend update has to be great, right? And to me, Norm Macdonald's the number 1 weekend update person of all time. And number 2 to me is Colin Quinn. So
Wow.
that's my weekend update pick. He's my catcher, and he wasn't great at much else, but damn, he was a damn good weekend update guy.
Jenna, any take on that?
I have absolutely no experience with Colin Quinn.
I was
He's
wondering if
like
that was
Norm
the case.
Macdonald 2.0 kind of. You know, he's like
Wait,
Norm,
yes.
Norm Macdonald light.
He had that one song, right?
Song.
Colin Quinn didn't do music.
Where he had a song. I'm gonna look this up right now.
Like a deadpan comment from you guys. It's not the same guy.
Did he have
Maybe he
the
did have a
song?
parody song. I don't know.
I remember because he was a character guy on Weekend Update before Norm left.
Oh, you can't see it. He's going back to Brooklyn.
Oh my
100%.
god. What is that?
Don't you test me. Look it up.
Wow. How'd you know that?
Is that
My
like a
brain is
parody
full
of?
of absolutely useless information.
Is that like a parody of like going back to Cali?
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I do like how you're like, I have no idea who that is. Oh, here's
I mean,
this
I
obscure
know who
song
he
nobody
is.
remembers.
I know who he is, and
Yeah.
I've like seen him
Okay.
in the, but I don't remember anything, and it wasn't anything that like I watched with him, and I haven't seen anything of him outside of SNL.
Like I said,
Well, yeah.
it's high praise for me because, like I said, I think Weekend Update is the most stacked position that SNL has. They've had so many great people do it, and to me, I think Norm's number one, and I think Colin's number two. I really think that highly of them.
Did you watch Tough Crowd on Comedy Central when it was on?
No.
So if you get a moment when you put to bed the thousands of
Oh,
kids,
actually, I think I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
he hosted like Greg Giraldo, Rich Voss, Patrice, what's his name, the weirdo, can't think of his name, but anyway,
Carrot Top.
The bald guy, Jim Norton and David Tell, and all those 90s early 2000s comics appeared on it quite a bit. Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn was a pretty underrated show. They ended up taking it off because it was too much like The Daily Show. Like they talked politics. It was a smart comedy show, and they didn't want two smart shows back to back. They needed a dumb show, so they were replaced with like Crank Yankers or whatever. But pretty good. Okay, so Melinda, we're up to you.
Yeah.
We got another back-to-back. We got Kristen Wiig, Norm Macdonald, Molly Shannon. Such a weird start to the list. I'm curious to see where it goes.
It's gonna get weirder.
Good.
So it is National Coming Out Day. And this pick is, I would say,
I know who you're gonna go for here.
no, you don't. You absolutely do not. Because this was part of my own personal awakening. One of my early childhood crushes, and it is Sherry O'Terry.
I had her on my
What?
list.
She was also one of my childhood crushes, so we're like,
Yeah,
soulmates.
same.
Oh, that's why
Yep.
you like her more than Adam. I don't think I've ever called you Adam.
Yeah, that's weird.
It was,
It was
yeah.
weird.
For a second, I had no idea who you were talking about.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
That was weird.
And I think it's weird to call you Cash. But no, Sherry O'Terry, a little firecracker. Will
Underrated.
Ferrell
for
in
sure.
her. She's the best. She's so cute. She's hilarious. I love her. I love her.
The
Wow,
only
that's a really
bit
strong pick.
I can
That's
think
one of
her
those.
in.
Yeah, that's
is-
one of those things where we went to school on Monday and did like the routine from the cheer squad with
Yeah,
her. Will
the
Ferrell.
Spartans.
Yeah, the Spartans.
Ugh. And honestly, and also she did was it Coffee Talk? Was that her in
Anna Gas
Someone-
Fire. I thought it was-
yes. And she was iconic. I just thought she was the cutest thing. I wanted to eat her up in a little hot pocket. That's all. Sherry O'Terry.
Man, I was not expecting her to go that high.
That's what
Well,
I thought.
but good pick. All right,
Mhm.
so you got two in a row. Who do you have at number 5?
Well, it's National Coming Out Day, so I'm gonna take
Haven't
Kate
heard that.
McKinnon.
No, that's
I'm
what,
That's who-
sorry.
that's
I
what
knew
thought
she'd
you were
be
going with
gone.
The last pick. She's one of my favorite people.
That's what
Oh,
I
man.
wasn't gonna take her, but I thought that's who you thought I was saying, so I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take her. I do
Well,
love her. She is, oh my god,
So good.
she can do everything.
Absolutely.
She's so good.
Absolutely.
I
Oh, shucks.
I love your team so far because it's Kristen Wiig, Molly Shannon, Sherry O'Terry, Kate McKinnon, and then Norm Macdonald, who would be like, hey, what's all the broads here? What's this about?
I'm gonna round it out. It's gonna be great.
Oh, it's funny.
Hey, I said there were going to be a run on the funny women, and there we are.
And there's more to
Well,
come.
Shy, back to you, man. Who do you got at number 5?
This is not actually who I want to pick, but I think since there is a run on funny women, I have to pick her now. And I will throw her up on the desk with Colin Quinn, no pun intended. And one of my crushes, I actually keep a list on my phone of women who are on my list. Tina Fey is on that list, and she's very high on that list.
Mhm.
Just one of those people that I could just watch in anything and enjoy her screen presence and her writing ability, comedic ability, weekend, all of it. She's just one of the very best to ever do it. And think about 30 Rock and some of the people she's discovered. Like, we have Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, because Tina Fey like believed in him, like, which is insane. So she's got a good eye for talent as well.
I can't believe she went this low. I thought for sure she was going to be like a first or second rounder. So incredible value pick is what Todd McShay would say, Shy, with that one.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've got Chris Farley, Amy Poehler, Chris Rock, Mike Myers.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I'm going to.
Damn.
I think I'm going to go. So I got to think about who Jenna's going to take back to back.
Jenna doesn't even know.
I'm going to take Jason Sudeikis. I'm taking
Damn
him.
it.
Not bad.
See, that's why I was thinking
Solid.
like he didn't have a lot of characters on SNL that are like recurring, but every time he was in something, like I just love him. I love him.
Yeah, you got to think of the whole package.
Does anyone else's brain like go into buffering when you hear Jason Sudeikis and you're like, okay, is that Ed Helms or is it Jason Sudeikis? I don't remember.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
trouble distinguishing which one is which for a second. I'm like, okay,
The
It's the
face,
haircut.
yes.
It's the haircut too.
He's Ted Lasso, man.
never
Yeah.
seen Ted Lasso,
It's
but I've
so
heard
good.
about it.
Love it.
I'm working on it.
I don't like to cry. I hear it's one of those shows.
I have not cried at it.
Okay.
It's
I'll
just
cry.
But it's like
positive.
heartwarming and yeah.
Like
I
it's
don't
not
like
a
that.
sarcastic, dark, whatever.
He
It's just
has-
a fun show. Yeah.
The best, like, I don't know if they're dad jokes, but just things that you're like, ah, you did it again. But it's got a good cast too. Like
good,
Roy
yeah.
Kent is good, and the guy who plays Beard, and like I'm terrible at names, but like the Office guy, they're all good. Anyway,
That's good.
I might have to check that out. I'm actually very anti-Apple because I'm a very loyal person and I've been like Samsung ever since this battle started. So I'm like kind of boycotting the show because it's on Apple platforms, but I might check it out.
my favorite Sudeikis character doesn't even talk.
Yes.
He just dances.
He just dances.
And if
Oh,
he,
yeah.
if he doesn't do that when he hosts, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
They have to do it. I'll be pissed too.
So good.
All right, Jenna. I'm sorry I took one of your guys, but
Clutch.
I'm curious to see who you're going to
You
take
know what?
now.
I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're
Kash. Jenna, you took Keenan, right, Jenna?
Oh, I absolutely did.
So
and
you
I
got
have
the
no
whole,
regrets.
you got his best sketch to me, which is what's the guy's name?
Oh, yeah.
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
You get that. So that's actually not
Yeah.
a bad pick now that
There
I
we
think
go.
about it, because that's one of the funniest things on the show recently. I
There's that, and he's Andre De what?
think.
The movie critic person, and he's got House Talk. I'm telling you, he does.
And
Sneaky.
Black Jeopardy is
Oh,
a
yeah.
great sketch
Yes.
when they brought on.
Not SNL, but shout out to PRS Cargo.
yeah.
That's why I said he's
Yeah.
been in my life like forever.
And Good Burger does hold up. I watched it recently. It's still
I've
funny.
never
My
seen
kids
Good
like
Burger.
Good Burger.
It's
I sent you
admittedly
that sketch with Kel, right? Who put the screw in the tuna?
I put the screw,
screw
in the
In
tuna.
the tuna.
Oh, and Keenan and Kel.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm starting to really like your Keenan pick more and more. I'm glad you
Yep,
said that.
yep.
Crap. So
Yeah,
I
talk
took
more about why
Sudeikis.
you picked Sudeikis.
yeah. So no, you're up.
No. We didn't hear from you enough.
When the kids got in trouble and they did the scared straight and they brought Keenan in, and then Sudeikis was the cop and he would hop up on the desk and try to get him to break by dumping stuff on the floor, was good. All right.
I'll take
Yep.
another pick if Jenna's not ready.
No, she's ready.
Okay, I have people on my list, but I'm just like, I know that there's somebody that I should take earlier because I feel like the people
Follow
on
your heart.
There's
I know.
there's one glaring A-list name that's omitted right now, and I'm not going to take this person, but I'd be surprised if they're not off the board very soon.
Is it a man or a
looking-
woman?
It is a man.
Okay, I feel
Oh, I
like that's the
gotta-
person I should take. Are they an older cast member?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't think I ever watched them in SNL, but I know that everybody's like, I love them.
I'm gonna cry.
What if it's okay? I'm gonna
Start the
throw a
timer.
curveball, and this isn't on my list, but I'm gonna take him because I feel like it'll be a good thing. So I'm gonna go with Eddie Murphy.
That's who I was referring to. I
Okay,
expected
cool.
Eddie Murphy to be one of the first people taken.
You know, I'm not gonna take him because of SNL, but I do really love Shrek because of Donkey. So that's my reasoning.
You are like the wife and like that, you know, when March Madness happens, the husband takes a bracket home from work to his wife and is like, hey, fill one of these out. And she just wins just because she picks like the favorite.
Cash,
Yeah,
you want to let him know how much I love March Madness?
Huge fan.
There's just like no necessarily not the greatest rhyme or reason to the picks, but they're all really good picks. Like,
Yeah.
they
Okay.
were
Look,
put
like
together
I
really good
said,
stuff.
I know that a lot of like if you look it up, he's always at the top of the list. So sometimes you have to go outside of your comfort zone to round your team out.
Can I give a hot take here? I
Yes.
don't find Eddie Murphy funny. He's
I
just not my cup of tea. Never has been.
Not me either. I think some of his stand-up, I think his impressions were funny. I think when he did Pryor and Cosby were good, but when people are like, oh, Raw and Delirious are like some of the greatest stand-up of all time, like, did you watch it like all the way through? Because it's pretty bad.
And people swear by him. When you ask like the general consensus, if you were to ask just people who are really into comedy, as I know Kash, you and Melinda are, like, people swear that he might be the greatest comedian ever in the history of comedy, like Richard Pryor level, like George Carlin level. And I've never felt that way. Like I like The Golden Child, which wasn't really even a comedy, but I just felt like he was all right, you know?
Yeah.
I rewatched his stand-up recently, and aside from obvious like societal changes where you're like, we don't really joke about that anymore, we don't say that word anymore. Aside of that, it really held up. However, may have been under influences. So
that's what
can't
helps.
really yeah, exactly.
All right.
But it's Eddie Murphy.
I am going to go back to my favorite casts, so newer. And I'm going to pick this person because I think she does good impressions. I think she is hilarious. She has been on there for a very long time. She's got a lot of characters I like, a lot of Weekend Update characters. Didn't like her as the Weekend Update host, but I'm going to go with Cecily Strong.
Yep.
Good pick.
Just because also I think some of the dudes that I want are going to be around later, but I could be wrong. We'll see.
She's one of those where I get it. Like, I don't personally find her great, but like I understand why other people, like, you can recognize that she's talented. She just doesn't necessarily do it for me.
Yeah, she just is kind of an underdog, I feel like. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, she's good. And then I start to think about it. And I think that she probably has a lot of say in like her sketches that she comes up with often end up on the show.
Mm-hmm. It took me a while, I think, because she's just naturally beautiful. They probably like tried to put her in like a specific kind of role that I didn't think she was that funny, but she's been around a while and no, she's really, really good. Like, she's definitely grown on me for sure.
I tried to watch Schmigadoon. There's a lot of singing in it, and
not for me.
A lot.
Yeah. Yep. Feel you there.
Okay.
As he tabulates.
Yeah.
I'm doing the math in my head. It doesn't make sense.
I have 6.
I have 5.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. So for my number 6, I'm going to take one that I think is underrated. I wish she had been on the show longer than she was, but she was kind of there was just more stuff for her to go do out in the other world. And
don't do this to me. You're going to steal one of mine.
I'm scared.
I hope not, but because she appeared later on a show that Jenna and I both love.
No.
Recurring role.
No.
I'm going to take Nasim Pedrad.
Okay.
Oh, you son of a gun.
Good.
She's
I like her though.
In that fireplace.
She was one of my safeties. Is that a phrase? Safety?
Yeah, like a safety school.
Yeah, like you apply to Ball
There we
State
go.
because you can't get anywhere else.
Oh, it's not on baseball though.
Right.
What?
It was, well.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, good pick. I like her a lot.
And we get to date anybody in our cast. So
What?
I get to now
Hold on.
I get
Wait
to
a
now
minute.
marry Nassim Pedrad, one of my biggest crushes of all time.
Well, I get to marry Keenan, so who's
Yeah.
the real winner?
Dual wedding.
R.I.P.
No.
Norm.
I do have 2 crushes on my list, so I'm fine with those
R.I.P.
rules.
Norm. Yeah, dude,
on
you
me-
got JLD and Tina Fey. I want to hear
Yeah.
from you.
It's on me.
Terry.
It's on me now, right?
Wait, what's your favorite Nassim character?
Nassim.
Her Kim Kardashian impression is very funny.
Yeah.
Her when she played the boy Chad.
I was gonna
not
say
Chad,
the boy.
Yeah.
but the boy character was really funny. She was one that she would disappear in sketches, like naturally another beautiful woman, and they would just kind of ugg her up and make her the dude, and she would just be the weird character. The one that sticks out of my mind, I don't know why, but it's Josh Brolin's the host, and they keep playing the song "Got More Bounce in California," and it's the hallway where they move slowly down the hall, and then it's normal over here, and then they go down the hall and they just do these slow walks or whatever, and they play that song. She's a part of that sketch. Don't know why. It's not that funny, but I just really enjoyed that one when she was in that.
Her as Shallon, the kid in the class who
Jalen.
was
Yes.
always so down there like, fire safety on Christmas. Santa's coming down the chimney. What are you going to do? I'm getting in that chimney.
That's right. I forgot the character's name, but yeah, no, that's perfect.
There's candy in that van.
Yeah. Okay, Shy.
There's some glaring names that we haven't picked yet, and I'm gonna leave those up on the board because I just don't find those people funny. And I'm gonna go with a shocker here that probably no one might have picked. And that's because this comedian has one of the greatest sketches of all time on any show, and that would be Julia Sweeney.
Oh,
What?
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I want all. That's all she has to do is be Pat. That's all I want. And then that's some of the funniest things ever, some of the funniest television ever. It's still to this day, probably very inappropriate, but still to this day, sometimes when me and my friends aren't sure what gender somebody might be, like we do use the word Pat. Not
It's
appropriate.
more and more
but,
prevalent.
yeah. So, in hindsight, that's really kind of a groundbreaking. I just think I do like funny and smart comedy, and like not so much in your face. This is exactly what we're trying to do. This is exactly why you're trying to make you laugh. And I think that was some more subtle comedy and people trying to tiptoe and be politically correct around what gender Pat might be. It's still some of the funniest moments and memories I have of watching SNL in the 90s.
It's funny how it's simultaneously progressive and regressive, depending on how you look at it, how you approach it. Because it is kind of calling out that how do you react to someone who doesn't really fit into the heteronormative gender expression, and also it's just silliness because of the way that she is. And and there's been a lot of think pieces or dialogues about the Pat
could you imagine
character
that today, especially on the heels of Chappelle and the things
it wouldn't be done the same. It would be clunky, and it's not comedy when you approach it that way. But when it comes to Pat, it's just comedy. It's so good. And I love Julia Sweeney, and she's in Shrill and all, she's done a lot.
Shrill is a great show.
Is she 80s mom?
SNL. Mm-hmm. Yep. She's great. I love her.
All right, Melinda, you got back-to-backs 6 and 7 now.
I'm not ready. Okay, I'm gonna take their this is so hard. Okay, one is old school, one is new school. The first one's old school, and I'm taking them again. Adam, I need you to back me up here. That and you won't. Bill Murray has been near and dear to my heart for a long time. He wasn't even on SNL that long, but he has some iconic characters, the lounge singer, whatnot. Back in the mid 2000s, we all had mustache decals and Bill Murray decals on our cars. Bill Murray, I've loved him forever before all that nonsense. He looks exactly like my own father. I love Bill Murray. I'll die for Bill Murray. He's the best. I'm taking Bill Murray.
But are you
can't believe
taking
you-
Bill Murray?
How did you wait this long to finally take him? I can't believe it.
I know. Well, because he's my Chris Farley, but I was like, he's, as far as SNL lore goes, like I said, he wasn't on that long. He's an old cast member. I didn't think he'd be taken. So now's the time. I gotta take him. He's my dude.
I'm glad he was around for you. Once Shy took Julia Louis-Dreyfus, all bets were off, man. Short-lived, long ago, doesn't matter.
Yep.
All right. So
And
who's
then-
new school?
New school, speaking of short-lived, I'm taking her because if I was on SNL, I absolutely would say fuck on live TV.
No,
Please.
no.
I'm taking Jenny Slate. I'm
That was
so
on my
sorry.
list. I thought for sure no one would pick Jenny Slate. She
Nah,
was my,
dude,
like,
I love her
my
so
sleeper
much.
pick. She is so funny.
She's so funny. I actually ran into her. I was walking down the street in Los Feliz and I was like, oh, Jenny, and she goes, hi. And I was like, hi. And then that was it. That was the whole interaction. But no, I love her
I'm
so much.
heartbroken.
I'm so sad. I'm sorry, Shy. I know earlier, like I think we both were feeling it like, oh, they're about to take Jenny. They didn't. And I got her.
I think they dropped the ball. I know she had the thing happen and she's
Yeah.
better off. And I'm like, that's a missed moment. She could have been like a dominant cast member on that show and did so many great things for
Agreed.
so long. She is
But
so funny.
Look at her now,
Now,
Yep.
Jenna.
It's one of my running inside jokes that I off of what was it, 30 Rock? Don't be suspicious. Don't. Every time I'm trying to like sneak around the house or something. I'll
That's
sing
where
that
that
to
came
myself.
from?
Yeah.
No, it's Parks and Rec.
Oh, Parks and Rec, yeah.
Her and
Okay.
John Ralphio when they fake their deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the worst.
Money, please.
Please.
Now-
Money.
Jenna, do you hate Jenny Slate? Do you
I
resent
don't
her?
hate her. She gives me hope, but
Okay,
she's
okay.
still in the type. The type is thin, dark hair, dark eyes. All I have is the hair.
She dated Chris Evans, aka Captain America. So
That's
I was
true.
wondering if there was some
AKA.
animosity there from Jenna.
No, there's
What's
still
that?
time.
There's some funny, really funny. I don't remember what it's from, but she has something with Nick Kroll, like a really funny skit from somewhere that's like it's memeable now. It's like a very popular.
Oh, from Kroll
yeah.
Show.
It was
Yeah.
on
When-
Kroll Show. I can't remember the
Mhm.
characters, but yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I like the taste of yogurt. I like the taste of yogurt. I love her so much. She's so funny. That's my
All
new
right,
school pick.
Shy. You're up, man.
Oh, back to me already. Now this is where it's getting hard. So let me update my list here. Cross
That's
that one
what
off.
it's
Good.
Oh man. I believe so I have Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tracy Morgan, Colin Quinn, Tina Fey, Julia Sweeney. I am going to go with David Spade. He's just one of those people that I find to be funny no matter what he does. Just the sight of him kind of makes me giggle a little bit because he's David Spade. You know what I mean? He's just he's got a lot of memorable moments in film, obviously, but he's one of those people I think that might be rarely more known for film than he is for his time on SNL. And not that he's been on film like recently, but he was really hot there in the 90s for a while, especially doing some things with Chris Farley and all that. And
then Joe
I think
Dirt was
he's-
pretty big.
yeah, you can't go
Oh,
wrong
I
with
forgot
David
about
Spade.
Joe. Okay, now I have a question, and I'm gonna get racial. Because you were like, oh, I didn't watch Wayne's World. Like, it's a white thing. I'm a black guy. Like, was Tommy Boy something that you experienced in your youth?
I did not watch Tommy Boy until probably like college or something like that. It's one of those,
Okay.
I have white stoner friends in college and, they get, they do their thing and eat their shrooms or whatever. Like, hey, let's watch Tommy Boy. That's how I got introduced to Super Troopers. Hey, Shell, we're gonna drink and smoke. Let's watch Super Troopers. And
That's such
now
a
I know who Farley
college.
is.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious because, like, in my opinion, once Chris Farley was off the table, I was like, well, then David Spade's off the table because
You do think of them
yeah.
together for sure.
But I love David Spade, and I do think he is funny on his own, especially like as a late night guest. He was on Norm's show. But yeah, if I needed to make sure that you've seen Tommy Boy, because if you love David Spade and you haven't seen Tommy Boy, that doesn't compute in my head.
He's got the call center character on us. Wasn't he like the call center rep on SNL or the Airways or Travel Agent or something like that?
Yeah.
They actually made commercials about that not too long ago. Had him like rehash that character. He's just a funny dude. Surprisingly, his sitcoms never like do super well, but I've like watched all of them. Like even the last one that was even the last one that was really not Spin City. What's the one after that? The like
Just
rules
Shoot Me?
for engagement, rules of engagement. I watched Just Shoot Me as well.
Mhm.
Rules of
Just Shoot
engagement.
Me
I
and
watched
Rules of
that.
Engagement were 2 big ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like the only David Spade sitcom fan, but I love him.
If only that was
didn't he-
enough.
Yeah.
He just had his own like Netflix kind of talk show, yeah? Or it might not have been Netflix, but like
I don't know.
He's bounced
He
around
did.
platforms. He was on Comedy Central, and then he was like on doing something
That's what it was.
exclusively on Instagram. And I'm like, that's
That's a weird.
Okay,
Yeah,
buddy,
not-
keep
not
trying.
great.
Wait, he
Um,
hosted The Bachelor.
What?
He did.
Yeah, wasn't that like just now?
I don't know. Oh, I want to say he hosted like an after show where they made
Yeah, it's
fun
all
of
the
it.
same to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh,
I
I've
think I do
never
remember that
watched
now.
The Bachelor. It was after the one guy got fired.
Oh.
Chris Harrison.
Oh, that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, that guy.
I
I
don't
have no
watch-
know. I don't know The Bachelor at all. The only thing for The Bachelor I know is the skit where they, can I steal you for a second? Thanks." That's all I got.
So good. Kate McKinnon, Cecily, 80. That's them.
All right. I can't wait to annoy you guys with my next pick. I'm sure he's high on a lot of boards, but he's fallen. Probably one of the bigger names that Shai has alluded to. But my number 7 is going to be Jimmy Fallon.
Oh,
Yeah, I know it's gonna probably upset you, but
I don't mind Fallon. Like he's not the best.
I've always
but
really enjoyed him. Some people hate that he cracks up and breaks
I
some
was going to say
sketches.
the problem with Jimmy Fallon is the first thing the thing he's most memorable for is screwing up. But at the same time, it makes you laugh.
I
So it
love
serves its purpose.
when they break. Yeah.
I like when they break too. It's super fun.
Mhm.
But it
he's
feels like he
comedically
breaks
talented.
just to break. You know what I mean? That's always organic with him and genuine. But I think Fallon's funny though.
He's musically talented. I mean, he can play the guitar. He did all those, before he became Jimmy Fallon from SNL, like he was doing little Weekend Update spots where he'd bring his guitar and he would do impressions of singers doing parody songs. And then he would do actual impressions. His Howard Stern was really funny. That comes to mind. The Sully, the Boston characters. Tommy, tell me you got that. Like that was really funny. And he can host with Poehler on Weekend Update. I think that's a great 1-2 punch on the desk.
I just remembered him and another pick I won't say doing like the drunk Boston couple. Hilarious. Love that.
Yep.
That's pretty memorable for sure.
Did you ever see Fever Pitch?
No.
The Red Sox movie with those I
mean, okay, you don't have to say it like that. No. He does a really great impression of Jimmy Stewart.
I wonder how
Okay.
Bostonians feel about that. Like, I wonder if they feel it's funny getting their accent mocked all the time like that.
Is he a Boston boy? I would assume he is. As long as it's like, I feel like if you're like a Ben Affleck or a Matt Damon, they're okay with it. But if you're someone else, then they're like, nah.
I feel like he's from like New Hampshire or something. Let's say
He's from upstate New York. He's from New York.
upstate New York. Yeah.
Yep, no,
Yeah.
can't have that.
So he's making fun. He's laughing at them, not with them.
Yeah.
No.
But those guys would always join. Like Ben would be
Yeah.
on the sketch. Matt would do the sketch. No, Mark Garcia Parra, he would guest and do.
Oh
the
yeah, I was just talking in terms of baseball with the New York Boston rivalry. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He probably learned that accent by making fun of those guys because he probably grew up a Yankees fan for all we know.
Yeah.
All right, Jenna Ray, number 7 and number 8. Who do we got?
I feel like all my picks from here on out, you're not gonna like. But that's fine. It's my cast. I don't even know that I can come up with like a character that he does right now, but I love him. So I'm going with Mikey Day.
I was gonna pick Mikey Day. I
Solid.
didn't think anybody would pick Mikey Day. I like Mikey Day a lot.
Love Mikey
good.
Day.
I like that pick, especially for a late round pick.
I didn't realize at first, and I don't like he did the skit with the David Blaine Cheez-Its, I think it was, for SNL. If you haven't seen that, I don't know if it still holds up, but I loved it in college and then found out years later that it's Mikey Day. And this isn't memorable at all, but he's in David S. Pumpkins, which is still one of my favorite skits. We're part of it. So that's who I'm going with.
He's definitely grown on me, and also very good at being like the straight man in a very absurd scenario.
When he gets
So
up on
good.
that table on the Olivia Rodrigo skit for a driver's license,
I loved that
I
one.
lose it. It was so good.
In the same vein, I'm stuck between a couple of people, but I always love, again, anytime she pretends that she's like a kid or a teenager, I think it's absolutely hilarious, and I love Shrill, so I'm going with
Oh no!
Yay!
That was my very next pick. No.
Sucker! Like
I
we
love Eddie Bryant.
love her best friends with Cecily, and always like the host where they're leaving her out, and when she's like, Michael on Weekend Update. That's my 80 impression. But yes, I love her.
I love her so much.
She's also very good at doing like the middle-aged white woman, like,
And Ted Cruz.
she's perfect. And she's such a good. I love when they had her this past week doing Ted Cruz like full face, like full lashes.
Or there was an episode where she was the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they had her as someone else, and she had to go back and forth as that person. It was great.
She's so good.
Oh man,
that really broke my heart. I love Eddie Bryant so much.
We're down to the last couple picks now. This is getting kind of tough.
Yeah, I'm scrambling here.
I still have so many that I want.
I know, me too.
Oh man, I only have one more. Wait, does our Weekend Update person count, or are we doing 9 in them, or 9 total?
Just 9.
I mean,
Okay.
just 9. Just 9
Okay.
total. I'm gonna go. Oh, this is really tough, man. I'm gonna go Andy Samberg with my number 8.
Sandberg was off the board. Is that not right?
No, I just said I didn't like him on SNL.
We
Okay.
just
I thought he was
talked
off the
about it a
board
lot.
already. I would have taken. Okay, that's my mistake. I got you. Gotcha.
Yeah, I can't believe he fell this far, but with the digital shorts alone, but he's just still so funny. Even just doing like a weird look, he can crack you up, and that's
I mean,
rare.
compared to some of the other guys on this list that got taken earlier, like Sudeikis and Fallon, and who are funny, especially Seth Meyers. I mean, and Sandberg blows him out the water for me for sure.
He's like gut punch funny, where it's not clever all the time. It's just he oozes funny. Like he's just a funny guy. He cracks you up with like just the voice that he does. Jenna, I think you're right. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine has given him a lot of shine, and that Peralta character has really, vaulted him a little bit. But I don't want to take away, because I love the digital shorts quite a bit. As much as that was a deviation from what SNL really was and stood for, being, live sketch comedy, they were so undeniable that, I don't know, love Andy Samberg. And I would love to do, actually, Jenna, you could do this as well, where you could have like an impression off, where you have 2 really good impersonators and then one really bad one. So like Bill Hader, Eddie Murphy, and Keenan, where he can't do an impression.
That was literally Andy Samberg's monologue one of the last times he hosted.
Where Seth Meyers runs through all the impressions. He's like, I don't know, something. And then they go
and
to
then
the next
Bill
one.
Hader came out and he was like, Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
I'm so mad because I have to get up really early for work tomorrow, and I know that after this, I'm just gonna go down an SNL rabbit hole on YouTube.
It's inevitable.
Yep.
All right, Shy,
Like
you got 2
Thanos.
picks left. Who do you got at number
All
8?
right. It would have been Eddie Bryant, but so wisely stole that pick. But I'm gonna go with another one here, who some of the younger viewers might not remember, but before passed away way too early. But Phil Hartman It's just Phil Hartman is one of those
Honestly,
people that can just always entertain me and make me laugh. I love Phil Hartman, so I think he would fit nice with this ensemble of SNL crew I got. So Phil Hartman would be my pick, and I'll put him at first base.
I
Dude.
will say I had 3 people left with stars by their name. Phil Hartman was one of them, so I'm almost glad you took him so that it just makes my last 2 choices easier. I love Phil Hartman.
Dude, if you did, I don't, if Rolling Stone or whoever did a list or whatever, if there was like a true fantasy draft and you did like a fan vote or whatever, I think Will Ferrell and Phil Hartman would probably be one. And like you got 2 tentpole icon leading dude because they can do it all.
As soon as you say Phil Hartman, you can just hear his voice, and it just makes you smile. Like he's
in that face.
Yeah.
Iron bad, and then he cracks up at it.
Definitely gone too soon. Love him.
Oh man. All
Jenna,
right.
so Phil Hartman is
I know who he is. Again, I just didn't watch SNL
Right.
far back.
He's the dad in Small Soldiers. Duh.
I've never seen whatever that is.
Okay. Jingle All the Way. He's the neighbor.
I was going to say, I watched
Jingle All
something
the Way.
recently that he was in. I wasn't sure if it was Little Giants or Jingle All the Way or both, but he was funny.
yeah.
Jingle All the Way. He's the a-hole neighbor. All right, Melinda, you got 2 stars left. I have a guess for
2
one
stars
or
left.
possibly both of them. We'll see if I'm right. Who
What?
do you got? 8 and 9.
I'm not okay. Well, you probably do know this one. For my 8th pick, I have to take him because I am a super fan. I don't think any of y'all are going to take him. He's from the current class of SNL cast members. I was listening to his podcast before he ever got casted. He is the Las Culturista. I am taking Bowen Yang.
I love Bowen.
Yes! I love him. I love him. The iceberg. He is. We don't have to talk about him. I assume there's not many talking points because he is in it's his rookie season, you know, not literally, but like he's a young cast member.
Right.
I think we will see many great things to come. But I had to take Bowen because I love him so much.
All right.
So
Last
my
one.
next pick is
Last
an
pick.
all-star. Cannot believe she is still on the board. I have a feeling
I know
Shy
who
is going to be
this
pissed.
No, yeah. I understand.
It's Maya Rudolph.
Oh, I thought you were going to go the other way. There was one more that I thought for sure you would take.
I
No,
thought you
I'm
were
taking-
going old school.
Yeah, I thought you were going.
Oh,
yeah.
she is also on my list. I'm assuming we know, but she
Yeah.
didn't have the star because Maya. I think it's just a generational thing. It's Maya. What
Maya,
more
to
can
me
you say?
she was great. She's great as Kamala Harris for sure, but she's as not funny sometimes as she is funny. So it's like, for me, it's like a toss up when I see her on my screen, how good she's going to be. But definitely one of the names you think of, you know, pretty quickly when you talk about cast members who come to your mind quickly over the years, especially recently.
Something like, I don't know if it was just like me in my generation at my time, but like the movie Bridesmaids took over my brain in a way that I just can't even, talk about. And so I got Kristen first, and I'm taking Maya. I can't believe she's still on the board. And even in Bridesmaids, she's like the straight man, but she obviously can do so much more. God, I love her. I love her so much.
You gotta love a character who poops in the street.
In a wedding dress. It's the best.
In a wedding dress.
It's happening.
And the longevity, like she's just, I love her. So that's me.
All
That's my
right, so we've
cast.
got Kristen Wiig, Norm Macdonald, Molly Shannon, Sherry O'Terry, Kate McKinnon, Bill Murray, Jenny Slate, Bowen Yang, Maya Rudolph. The only one I'm
Makes
surprised
total
you
sense.
didn't take was Rachel Dratch.
That's
Well, that's
who I was thinking of,
homophobic,
yeah.
but
I mean, Rachel Dratch is funny, but as a kid, there was also 2 other reasons I really, really enjoyed watching her sketches, which as a boy going through puberty when she was at her height was definitely a memorable thing for me. It's on me now, right?
It's you, man.
Yes.
Last one,
All
number
right.
9. Who you got?
So this is really hard because I have a few names, and after we're done, I'll kind of go through those honorable mentions and just that really deserve to be chosen by someone. But we're talking about an iconic team, right? And someone who has some iconic moments on Saturday Night Live playing some iconic characters would be my third baseman, final pick, Daryl Hammett. Just
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Sean Connery, Trump. I mean, just that's all he really has to do. He's got more than that, but just those two alone are outstanding reasons to have him on the show.
Bro,
It's a
have
good
you
pick
seen his
because you really don't
documentary?
have. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
He's a really good impressionist. Daryl Hammond documentary or Donald Trump documentary?
Donald Trump.
Daryl
of course.
Hammond.
No,
He
I have
has
not.
It's on Netflix and it's dark, just so you know.
Oh, really?
But worth watching.
That actually intrigued me. Usually that'll run people away when you said it's dark. I'm like, ooh.
Mhm,
I actually
that's what I
saw,
thought.
I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Netflix has some kind of biopic on Donald Trump that recently launched. And you know, when you scroll through Netflix, it shows the previews. And I thought it was a parody because it's because of the actor playing Trump, but it's actually like a serious biopic where, but he's kind of cartoonish anyway. So it's like, even if you're playing him perfectly, it kind of, all you can think of is SNL, right? Somebody playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean?
that's true.
So
Is it The Art of the Deal? That movie?
yeah, I think that might be it. Have you
That
seen
looks. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, this is a parody, right?
that? Yeah.
Well,
it
that's
was
the
not a
name
par-
of his book. Do you think it was funded by like Trump people?
Oh,
I
has
don't
to
think so because it makes him look kind of, he puffs his lips out and he looks orange, you know what I mean? Which is how he really looks in real life, but I think he would probably like hire like some like buff bodybuilder to play him if it was his people. You know what I mean? Someone who looks nothing like him. It'll probably be like Ryan Reynolds or something.
That's true.
Oh God.
All right, man.
Oy
So
vey.
Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tracy Morgan, Colin Quinn, Tina Fey, Julia Sweeney, David Spade, Phil Hartman, Daryl Hammond. I was going to say
Very
Daryl Hammond's a good pick
impressive.
because you didn't have necessarily an impersonator or an impressionist before him. But yeah, little 90s heavy, which is kind of nice. The Julia pick, I'm still jealous of. Nice, man.
Very good.
All right. Because I have a feeling I know who Jenna's going to take with her.
I
last
don't think
pick.
you do because I think
Adam always says that, and you don't know. You don't know us.
But it's actually been 50-50 because I have been right on a few. Or I just know I have a feeling you're going to take this person, but I don't know where.
Did you know I was going to take Keenan first?
I knew you were going to take him. I did not think you were going to take him first. I am also surprised there's a guy still out there that you haven't taken that I think it'd be funny if I took him now.
Do it.
I'm not going to. Because in Shy, you said it, we're going to kind of go through some names here at the end. Because I'm looking at my cast too. You don't want 9 pitchers or 9 third basemen. You need a squad to put together. I'm gonna go with Will Forte with my number 9.
He was on my list.
Solid.
He was
So
on my
solid.
list.
Disagree.
How was MacGruber, Jenna?
I wasted an hour and a half of my life.
It's so good.
It's so stupid.
What's that
MacGruber?
What's that
Yes.
sitcom he had? Like he's like
Last
Castaway
Man-
or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that was
Castaway.
good. I
Last Man on
like
Earth.
Will Forte. I just don't like MacGruber.
The
And I feel
sketch
like
or the
that's,
movie, right?
No. Mm-mm.
His other characters though, he's kind of like Sandberg in that it's gut punch funny. Like it's not. This is Tim Calhoun.
That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that I
And
like.
the guy with the blonde wig and the sunglasses at the wedding reception
Yes,
getting the inappropriate toast is always funny.
So good. He's so good at being creepy.
Okay, so I had Chris Farley, Amy Poehler, Chris Rock, Mike Myers, Jason Sudeikis, Nassim Pedrad, Jimmy Fallon, Andy
Wow.
Samberg, Will Forte was my 9.
Nice.
Jenna,
Who do you think's my last one?
I really think it's one
It's
of
got to
two.
be Joe Piscopo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
you nailed it.
it's Chevy Chase.
Ugh.
I think it's either Bobby Moynihan or Taryn Killum. Those are my
Okay,
two
I
guesses.
thought you thought that I was going to pick Taryn, but I didn't even put Bobby on my list. But then I started thinking about it,
Kit
and
Kat.
he's
He's a
got
cat.
some of
He's on my
okay,
list. Yeah, he's on my list for sure.
He's so good.
If the guy that does the getting fired skit with Cecily Strong, and they're never actually getting fired. He's got Trash Yard Mutt with The Rock, which is the wrestling like promo video, which is one of my favorite skits of all time. He's got Drunk Uncle. He's got the secondhand news guy. He's Guy Fieri. He's Riblet. Like, I don't know that.
Riblet.
Yeah, I feel bad because like his show didn't really make it, and he hasn't done anything outside of SNL, but there are so many characters that I'm always excited when they come on of his, and like all of his weekend update things are awesome. He just makes me laugh, and he has one of my favorite jokes, and I don't know why I love it so much, but it's when he's one of the Fox News guys. He's talking about the WNBA. And he says, "What's the W stand for? Worse." Just gets me every time.
Isn't
All
he
right.
also Slappy Pappy?
Yes.
Love it.
Wow. Yeah. You rattling off those characters, I forgot he had some, because he's funny and he's one of those. It's, through the different generations, you just for whatever reason don't like the new guys.
Mhm.
And then they grow on you. You're like, they're never good. And then you see a rerun, you're like, oh wow, that show. I mean, there was just heavy hitter after heavy hitter. So Jenna, you end
you
up
hear
with
about this thing though?
Anthony Crispino. Is that the secondhand news? Kenan Thompson, Bill Hader, Vanessa Bayer, Seth Meyers, Eddie Murphy, Cecily Strong, Mikey Day, Adie Bryant, Bobby Moynihan. I like how you have right that 05 to 012.
Yeah,
And
I
then
told
Eddie
you I
Murphy.
had to pick the person. I had to go outside my comfort zone. Look, I would watch this every week.
Yeah. Okay. So who? I mean, there's some huge names, big names that didn't get
yes.
picked.
The number one is, we're done, right? So I can say this
Mhm.
now.
We're all done.
Rattle them off.
Adam Sandler
Yep.
is someone that I don't personally find funny, but I thought that he would go off the board. pretty
Hubie?
quickly.
Hubie Halloween?
Belushi
Another-
Brothers.
Well, yeah. Another big name that's from like a more modern era is Beck Bennett.
I do like Beck, but
He's good.
again, it's one of those things where I can't
gotten
think of
better.
anything.
Adam.
He's better than Kyle Mooney.
I do like Beck in some things. I absolutely hate Kyle Mooney. And the
I
fact
hear that
that
often.
they're with each other makes Beck's stock go down a little bit. But he did have some fun
Okay.
things.
I know we touched on Rachel Dratch a little bit, saying that Michael Che, if I didn't have weekend update, locked down already, I think he's really good at that.
Mhm.
Chevy Chase would have been on there, but I heard about stuff going on in the community set, and I kind of don't like him anymore after that.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's
just like
hard.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody
He's
who's
like a
worked
bad
with
guy.
him likes him.
Yeah.
Dana Carvey is a huge
I
one that
had-
didn't get picked.
He's on my list, but just didn't feel the need to grab him. Another old school is Gilda Radner. That's one that I thought.
That's
We
who I
were-
thought you were gonna take
Yeah.
when you said you were
Yep.
going old school.
Yep.
I'm kind of
Um,
surprised Fred Armisen didn't get picked.
Ugh. I would have
You
ended
you
this
don't like
Zoom
him?
immediately.
Really?
someone
I
picked
get
him,
it why you don't like him.
Hate Fred Armisen.
I like
I'm-
him as Melipnos. The clay is
Uh,
silent.
Almerson's all right.
I don't know what it is about him. Not a fan.
I've really this is actually a rare one where a guy was like a part of two different like pretty legendary sketch comedy shows. Damon Wayans was on SNL. I don't know if a lot of people remember that. He's one
That's
of the
true.
people I thought about putting on there. Obviously, he was on In Living Color before that, which is actually talk about how Black people have their culture. When I was a kid,
Uh-huh.
I watched In Living Color all the time before I got introduced to SNL. And
Yeah.
My dad
Jim Carrey obviously
actually
was on there too.
watched In Living Color. His
Oh, yeah.
favorite sketch was always Homie. Homie, don't play that game.
There's
So
some,
that's what we grew up saying.
listen, there are some big names. Like obviously in Living
Oh,
Color,
yeah.
their roster can't go as deep, but if you just want to do 10, like top 10 from each show, they can go blow for blow with
Mhm.
SNL
Absolutely.
for sure.
And people will quote sketches they don't realize is in Living Color. Like
Yes.
forever. My buddy Mark and I hated it. Like when we would make fun of a movie.
Yeah.
Hated
David
it.
Allen Greer.
Oh, David Allen Greer, underrated. Very
Hey,
funny
get
guy.
this. get this. There are a few, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunder here, but there are a few names on here that you never really realize, like, oh, they were there, like Ben Stiller.
I saw that. Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr.
RDJ was
Silverman.
almost a
His
pick.
name is on there.
Sarah Silverman was on there. Martin Short.
One of my Sarah Silverman and Janine Garofalo were two of my like. I might have to take them because I love them, but they didn't make it.
Kash,
Wilson.
how do you guys feel about Rob Riggle? Because he's kind of like, I feel like everyone thinks he's funny, but I'm kind
I
of
was
like,
surprised
he's
when
a
I
little
saw
too
him. So I was
heavy-handed
like, he's Mad TV level. Like, why is he? I was surprised. I was like, wasn't he on Mad TV, not SNL? Like,
He was on that cast when they cleaned house in '95. So it was like Rob Riggle. They brought in Jim Brewer, the guy from Kids in the Hall, Mark McKinney. It was just a slate of middle-aged, like Canadian dudes. And that was when they first brought in Ferrell, Sherry O'Terry, Molly Shannon, Anna Gasteyer. And they were the ones that kind of stuck around because I think 95, 96 was the biggest cast of all time, except for maybe this year where there was like 20 people. Also in
Ego
that cast,
Wodum. Also want to shout out.
yeah,
Current cast. Love her.
Tim Meadows, I really enjoyed a lot. And I probably would pick him if we had one more spot. I really liked him quite a bit.
he represents like the token black guy to me. When I think of like,
Well, he is that in Sandler movies a lot of the time.
Yeah,
he is that character. But
did you read that SNL like dirt sheet book with everything behind the scenes through all those years? I heard that's a really good reading. I've been meaning to get around to that, but I want to read that. Laurie Metcalf is one that I didn't know was on the cast at all. From
I saw that.
I know. I was also surprised. I love her. If we're talking dirt, I do want to shout out Sashir Zameda.
She's great.
She did not get enough.
She slept with Drake.
Oh yeah.
You mean Drake slept with her?
Didn't hear it here.
I feel like she was very much underutilized when she was there. She should have been a star on that show, and they didn't really give her much. Kevin Nealon was one I thought a guy I really liked, but didn't really get off the board. He's been good in some other stuff too. He was on Weeds. It was really good on that show.
Yeah,
I thought Abby Elliott was underrated.
I have her on my list.
I love Abby Elliott. Absolutely. Her dad could have been on there too. Yeah.
When she played Zoe Deschanel to Zoe Deschanel's Mary Kate, maybe. I'm quirky. She had something else too that I loved. When you said Rob Riggle, he's one of those people that like I see their face and I'm like, oh, it's that guy. He's in everything. Like there's two more people I don't know their names, but if you showed them, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is in that thing. Also, a lot of these people who didn't make the list have had guest appearances on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And people that did, like Nassim has been on Brooklyn. Tim Meadows is on Brooklyn as a recurring character.
I love that they like take care of each other.
Yeah,
you know
Rob Riggle.
Yep.
I think the biggest name from like the new generation that was missed on here, and he's kind of everyone has an opinion on him, is Pete Davidson. I think I was surprised not to see that, but he's got a lot of potential. And he's like that classic like SNL 90s, like I have my off-screen issues, but I'm also here on screen. He's kind of like that old rock star era of SNL in the tabloids, but still showing up on Saturdays nights on television.
He's new school, but he's been around for several seasons now. Like, I think people are kind of sleeping on his staying power.
The thing with him too is
2014 is when he started. Yeah, he's been there for
2014. Is that right?
Yep.
When he comes on sketches, though, I always get there's a little bit of Fallon there, and I realize I'm contradicting myself a little bit because I picked Fallon, but it's like once he shows up, it's like, oh, I don't believe it's a sketch anymore. Like some of them,
like he
shows up, he's like, I'm not gonna take this seriously. I'm just gonna do my Pete Davidson. Like no, dude, like actually make it.
That was a really good Pete Davidson, by the way.
Actually, it was. Do you think that they know that he's this big tabloid like subject now? They maybe start writing that character into like the sketches he's in, because people are there to see Pete Davidson sometimes.
That's why his weekend update's so good.
Exactly. His weekend updates are kind of what makes him memorable to me, because it's him doing his stand-up. It's him being himself. So it's interesting, like, you know, I like him because I like seeing him be himself on Weekend Update, but at the same time, you're not doing a character, you're not really playing SNL, you know.
I am always
tricky.
bummed when people show up as themselves on Weekend Update. I'm like, this is a waste of a guest to me.
Unless it's John Mulaney in 2008 or 9.
Oh,
I don't remember.
wow.
He would come on as himself when he was just a writer, and I don't think they'd even done Stefan yet. He'd come on.
I dropped him as my host.
Well, okay, well, let's do that.
Got him.
Wait.
Last big name that I had to say that was omitted was Jim Brewer. Jim Brewer's got some great stuff.
Girl,
Goat boy.
Have you seen him lately? Talking about.
I have not.
Well,
he's on the anti-vax Fox News circuit.
Oh, great. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I don't even know that much about him, and I'm like, I had a couple on my list. You know that I love Taryn Killum. He just doesn't have enough characters. Like, I love Sloppy Swish, and I love Jedediah Atkinson.
Jedediah.
That's my favorite. I put that in my wedding vows.
Is this bad? Is this bad?
She got a standing ovation at her wedding, by the way. Not a standing ovation. It was an applause break. Sorry, but her vows were the best thing I've seen at a wedding, and I've been to a lot of them. It was amazing. Amazing.
That's all. I like Taryn Killum too, but he played like a one of the I don't know if it was 7 Years a Slave or whatever. He was one of the guys that was purchasing slaves in the movie. Now every time I see him, I'm like, damn you, Taryn Killum. Even though it was just a movie, but it makes I can't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
I also love, the same way I love Mikey Day, I love Alex
Moffat.
Yeah,
he's really grown on me
Alex
too.
Moffat. And from new cast, I think Heidi's really good. I think she's got a lot of characters and potential. And then if I didn't pick Bill Hader and I needed someone who could do impressions, Jay Farrow. Always loved when he would go through all of them.
Yep. And he had some good characters too.
I like his Jay-Z. I don't like anything else.
He does a good Jay-Z. The Denzel's pretty good, but everybody does Denzel now, I guess.
The character, the old assistant principal or whatever, attention teachers and students. Like that one. That one was a good sketch. Okay, so we want to do hosts and musical guests to wrap it up.
Now, does this have to be people who have hosted?
That's what I was wondering.
No, it can be somebody that you wish would or would do it again, or whoever.
Me and me.
What instrument would you play, or you want a cappella?
She's gonna beatbox.
Oh, I got the accordion.
Oh, the accordion. Perfect.
Do you want? Who wants to go first?
You want to go in our normal? I'll go first. No problem.
Yeah,
so for me, my host would be Martin Lawrence, because I think he is the greatest comedian of all time. My personal favorite pick, and he has hosted the show before. Monologue is obviously going to be great because he's just great at stand up, and also as a character actor, you talk about impressions and unique characters that he made up himself. I think he's the best to ever do it. So he would blend in well with his cast. Martin Lawrence and Will Ferrell, I don't know if they've ever done a movie together. They should have if they haven't. I mean, Tracy Morgan and Martin obviously have done some things. I think he would be great as a host for this cast. And my musical guest is going to shock you, but here, we want people to tune into this show, right?
Yep.
So my musical guest is going to be none other than Ashley Simpson, because that is the greatest musical performance in the history of SNL.
God, I watched that live.
Oh, man.
Me too. Oh man.
Martin Lawrence on the official banned list. He is banned from the show for life.
Why?
Really?
Yeah, he hosted in, I don't know, late 90s maybe.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
He went off script or whatever and was very vulgar by NBC standards, and Lauren's like, never back. You're gone.
I came across it on YouTube. It was like some never before seen or heard Martin Lawrence, like something from
Yeah. So controversial pick with the host and the musical guest. You're going to bring eyeballs, that's for sure.
Yeah, put him up there with Kanye, and they'll just have a complete meltdown together.
All right, Melinda.
Well, yeah, no, I'll get mine out of the way because honestly, I didn't think about this. And I am going to say host John Mulaney. Why not? I love him.
Mhm.
And let's bring up, like, especially now, like, hey, post everything that just happened. What's going on? And then musical guest, Shy, you just reminded me. I remember, I think Kanye did Black Skinhead, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And like,
I love that song.
obviously, Kanye is Kanye, but you can't take back what he was before all of that. And like, yes, that era, Kanye, love. And also, yeah, you're gonna draw some eyeballs, so I'll take Kanye. Why not?
Jenna?
That's not the order.
Oh, we're going.
Oh.
Well, that wasn't the order either.
Yeah.
Jenna.
Do you want to
Well,
keep
yeah,
waiting?
Jenna, and then Kash will land the plane.
Ugh, fine. I just have so many feelings. I always love when old cast members come back because it's usually not just them. They bring big names with them. So I'm very excited and I have high hopes for Jason Sudeikis. And in an ideal world, I would love to see Chris Evans host and
I knew it.
Andrew McMahon be a musical guest, but no one's tuning in for that. So
Nope.
I think that she
Is that Jack's mannequin?
yes. He's my hero.
Yes.
But I think that
Nerds.
if she is not on this season, I will be very surprised. I would love to see Doja Cat. And now that I said that in my head, I'm intrigued to see if how Lil Dicky would do as a host. So I'm gonna throw that one out.
Oh.
Keeping it super current for the kids, man. I don't know what some of those words mean. I've never heard of.
You've never watched Dave?
I'm shocked that
Dicky?
you've never watched Dave, Cash. I feel like that would be your kind of thing.
I am familiar with it. I have not watched it though. I also don't. Is it streaming or is it on cable?
It's on Hulu.
You can see it on Hulu. I believe it's on FX. So
Okay. I have heard of Doja Cat though. Very recently heard of Doja Cat.
That's why I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I'm surprised she wasn't in the first 4 episodes because she's like the biggest thing since sliced bread right now. But I really, I love Doja Cat. I think she's great.
I'm surprised, Melinda, that you didn't take Megan Thee Stallion as your music.
Oh,
You
damn
wanna
it.
take- you wanna
Yes, I
take
take
Kanye
Megan.
There we go.
Oh, that's hard.
Okay.
That hurts my heart.
I'm going to go super lame and not current and not hip for my picks. My
right.
host will be Conan O'Brien.
Zach would love
And
that.
My musical guest will be Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Well,
Beautiful, beautiful choice. Has Conan
Okay.
never hosted?
He hosted once in 1998, and it was very good.
now
The Molecular Man.
pick someone who's alive.
For musical guest,
Yes.
the Heartbreakers are alive. They just don't have Top Betty.
I mean,
Whoa.
that's like their whole thing.
Hey, Journey replaced their guy. They can replace Top Petty, right? Put John
Yeah.
Mayer up there. He'll be all right.
get a
Megan Thee
Filipino
Stallion and the
Tom
Heartbreakers.
Petty.
Yes, that's it. That's the one
Oh,
right there.
Luke Combs.
Oh, he was on it before. I thought you were gonna say, what's that band you like?
Metallica.
Crossfade.
Oh,
Wait.
Crossfade Cold. Looking back at me. Yeah, no.
Wait,
I'm not
no.
doing
What's the other one? Not
Oh,
Crossfade.
Switchfoot.
Switchfoot. That's it. That's your jam.
Oh my god.
No, Tom Petty. If we have to go alive, I'm going Luke Combs because that's my guy. And while we wrap up, I had one question before we started this, and the answer you will all be happy to know is no. I wrote down, will Chris Kattan get drafted? And he did not. So sorry about you, bud.
Did you?
He's
think
the
that he
dead
would?
weight that Will Ferrell carried to the bank. You know what I mean? That's his
I was
biggest
wondering
talk his
if-
whole career after Will Ferrell, for sure.
I knew he wouldn't get drafted, but I was wondering if he would even get mentioned. But
I used to get angry. The character he played that ate the apples and it grossed me out. So
Mr.
bad.
Peepers, you didn't
Yes,
like that?
Oh
No,
god.
I had nightmares about that. Dude. Like seriously, it creeped me out.
All right. Well, Shy Holder, Melinda Kashner, Jenna Ray, Hall, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And this was a lot of fun. Melinda, enjoy work tomorrow, getting up early. This was seriously a lot of fun. I'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Peace
Oh
out.
yeah.
Yeah.